Connecting to the server. 3, 2, 1, recording. All right, what's up, everybody? This is Wicked. And today I have somebody that I've been following, and this person, Sandi Glandt, is somebody that I give 100% credit for getting me started in terms of getting involved with this beauty business. This is something I've always wanted to do, but I've always had a huge amount of fear. And for whatever reason, I followed a lot of people, you know, whether it's Grant Cardone, Russell Brunson, all these people. And then one day I started following Sandi. And because she started her journey, I started seeing what she was doing, and she came out with this book. All of a sudden it goes, wait, everybody that is capable of doing this is doing this. Why are you being left behind? And Sandi, I kid you not, you are 100% the reason why and how I finally got the courage to get started in this business. So first of all, thank you so very much.
That's amazing. Congratulations. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, super excited. And to me, that's what it's about. It's about when you're a mentor, when you're somebody that is coaching and you lead by example. You know, at some point, like for example, you started doing one thing, then you started doing another, and then you started posting videos. And the more you did it, I could see myself as like, you know, wait, she's doing it. You can do it too. And I started following your journey. And I'm like, okay, there's step number 1. Okay, there's step number 2. This is what Sandi's talking about. And even though our initial niches are completely different, because you do a lot of work in terms of the women business space, and ironically, I do too now. But in the beginning, not being a woman, I looked at them, but the information is just, it's uniform, right? You use the information in your book ever. So here, tell us about you. Tell us about how you got started with your journey, and let's go from there.
Yeah, thanks. So I am a high performance productivity coach. As you mentioned, I specifically work with women, and just so happens to be most of the women, majority of the women that I work with are moms. So what I say is, you know, the more you have going on, the more my systems, my book, my coaching courses, all of that will benefit you, because the more you have going on, you have to figure out, how do I juggle all these things? Like, how do I have time for myself? How do I have time for my husband? How do I have time for the kids and taking care of myself, right? And my business, like, and most of the times it's all at the same time. And you're like, how do I do it all, right? So for me, when I first had my first baby, who's now 3, he's a little bit older than 3, he came into the world and I was like, holy crap. This was like, it was a big awakening, right? So it was like, how do I juggle all of these things? Running a business, being a mom, being a wife, wearing all these different hats. And I was, you know, I think the biggest thing, like, and I know you have a son, but the biggest thing for me was not going from 1 to 2 kids. It was going from none to 1. And for all the moms that are listening that can relate, you know, you've never been a mom before. So you know, even if you, like for me, when I was younger, I was a nanny. I used to do babysitting. It's different when you can get up and leave and have your life versus when you're at home and you're like, how do I figure out how to feed the baby, run a business, take care of the house, take care of myself, and just figure all of that out. So my journey started when I had my son, in terms of, I already had my business, but the productivity, time management, how are we doing all of this? So I, you know, credit my son, because if not for him, you know, for me, my passion is speaking specifically towards women, female entrepreneurs, and even more niche down to moms, because our time is so limited. And, you know, our time is a resource that we can never get back. You can always make more money. You can always, you know, find more ways to be resourceful, but you can't get back time once it's gone. So for me, I really niched down into the time management, the productivity, and helping women really strategically take back their time, take back their days, and figure out, like, how do I do it all? How do I manage to take care of myself, my family, my business, and operate at high levels? Like, I'm not talking about just like feeling okay, getting by. Like, we are talking like we're running on all cylinders, we're making it work, and you're fulfilled. Like, I don't want to just go day to day and be okay. Like, I want to be fulfilled as a mom, as a wife, as a woman in business, in my health and wellness, like across the board.
Yes, see, and you know what? It's an interesting point that you brought up. Is like, for example, when you were a nanny, you could walk away, right? You took care of the kids, and
I
you
used to
walk away.
nanny 3 boys.
See, there you go, bam. And now you can't walk away. So a lot of the times when I believe a lot of businesses start, and you really start fine tuning the systems because you don't have an option, right?
Right.
With your son, you couldn't walk away. You
Right.
couldn't be like, hey, it was
there's
nice,
no like,
you know.
please calm down. Mommy's like sending out an email.
No, right? And because of that, I think a lot of these business owners, where they are, see, a lot of them are really struggling, especially right now. So again, my niche, we're talking about estheticians, salon owners, you know, beauty businesses, etc. Right now, there are too many options. When you're a business owner, it's complete, as you understand, it's a completely different beast compared to when you work for somebody else. When you work for somebody else, you can call in sick. You can, you know, not do the job and you're still getting paid your hourly.
Right.
But when you're a business owner, you have options. Right? Like, you know, you
and
still
sometimes that's more scary for people because they're like, oh my God, I'm not being told what to do. I have to be the one that's steering the ship and saying, which direction am I going? How am I expanding? Where am I going? What am I doing? What am I putting out? What's not only the content, but like, what are my offers? What are my products? Like, you have to be all of those decision makers in each area, right? Like, hopefully you get to that point where you can bring people onto your team and start to get to another level where you have people in those positions. But at the end of the day, it's still your company, it's still your business, it's still your baby. So you need to be the one that is taking the, you know, is figuring out the direction and then leading everybody, versus when you're in a position, you know, when you're employed by someone else, you're like, okay, I show up to work, I'm told what to do, where to report to. So, you know, you kind of have to have a little bit more figured out when you're the entrepreneur in terms of where am I going? What direction do I go?
And you know, that's one of the big problems is, for example, when we look at the beauty space, the estheticians, you know, I speak and work with so many of them, and they are by some of the most kindest and most wonderful people. And when I look at an esthetician and someone that takes care of skin and of course lashes and brows and all this other stuff that are really importante.
Yes.
You know, they go through the school, they get the training, right? They'll be efficient and proficient in all this stuff. But one area they do not teach, Sandi, in that school is how to run a business. So they'll teach you what to do.
Absolutely.
And then they'll push you out the door saying, great, here's your license, here's your certificate, you're good to go.
Figure it out.
And now figure out how what is time management? How do I prioritize? How do I get clients? Right. And to me, that's one of the hardest things that they need help with.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. So, because I think a lot, you know, same thing with school and the traditional, you know, education system, they'll teach you everything that you need to know under whatever your degree is. But unless you're even in marketing, even like if you're in the actual degree that, you know, let's say marketing or sales, they're not telling you how to market yourself, how to sell your products, how to do these things in the real world. Right. So like, you have to have that creative edge and enough of that entrepreneurial spirit, hustle, grind, whatever you want to call it, to be able to figure it out, to be resourceful. And if you are resourceful, I mean, look out, because that's when you become dangerous and you're like, you know what, if I can figure it out and I don't let the roadblocks get in my way or the detours or whatever, then you're gonna, you know, be in business. You're going to be able to figure it out and get what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. And the resources are out there. And I think that's the other problem that people run into. So for example, before when I was a kid, you know, we had like AOL dial-up and all this stuff. We didn't have a lot of, you know, like, right? It's like ding, ding. It's like just the most annoying thing in the world. People will never
You would finally get connected
struggle.
And be like, yes.
People will never understand. And then you get a phone call and it disconnects. It was just a pain, right? But the problem nowadays, Sandi, is also there's just too much information out there. Right.
Yeah.
It's like
true.
You know, it's kind of like
overload.
The other day I was looking at like a weightlifting magazine, and one magazine was saying you should lift every day and you're gonna get buffed. And then the next article you go, no, you should not lift every day. You should lift, you know, every other day because your muscles got to heal.
Right.
But
it all contradicts itself.
So what's the deal? Like, for example, with you, business is hard, right? Let's just say across the board, business can be hard, right? Being a business owner is stressful. there's long hours, it's unpredictable. And then you're juggling, you know, being a wife, being a mom, being a daughter, you know, there's all these other roles that you play.
Yeah.
Like, and also the rate of failure in business is so high. When you look at the general statistics of how many small businesses go into business and then how of them many close the door. So why do it? Like you, why did you open up a business knowing that you're going to be facing and dealing with all these obstacles?
Yeah. Well, there's a couple answers to that question. The first one is I grew up in an entrepreneur household. My dad has always been an entrepreneur. So I saw from a very young age that failure doesn't define you, and failure isn't the end game. Like if you go after something, and I literally tell this to my boys, my 6-month-old and my 3-year-old, this is like a conversation that we have at night, at bedtime, on the regular. And, you know, a block, a stop, an excuse is never the end. It's, I figure it out, right? And it's like a game. And it's so funny because a lot of people have the mentality of, oh my God, if I get a no, if you know, if I can't figure something out, it's a stop for them. And you have to look at it like a game. It's not, it's a detour, right? Like you figure it out. It's having that figure it out mentality. And, you know, for me, like one, I want to be the example to my kids, because if they see mom stop or fail, I don't even like the word fail, because in my opinion, there's no such thing as failure unless you give up. Right. Unless I totally stop and give up, then I'm still in the game. I'm still going to figure it out. I'm still going to find a way. So I want to be that example for my kids. And then even on top of that, for me, the transformation that my clients get, whether it's through my programs, whether it's through my one-on-one coaching, whether it's through my book, I mean, I can't even need to tell you all of the women that have come to me that said, you've helped me so much in my personal life as a mom, in my business. You've allowed me to be more intentional with my family, with my kids, to make more money, but not just more money in the income, but the impact that I get to have. And one of my clients said this to me. They said, you created this ripple effect for me in my family. It's not just something that you've done for me. And like, I get the chills when I talk about it, because that's how connected I am to my purpose. I'm
getting chills.
Yes. Yes. It's, you know, she said, you created this ripple effect for me. So you have coached me, but you've created this also for my family and for everyone else that's around me, because it's not just like this stressed out mom anymore, where she's like going from thing to thing to thing. And most entrepreneurs, but especially moms, feel like they're on this never ending hamster wheel where you get on and you're just like running in place and you're never going anywhere. And you're like, I've got a million dishes to do and the laundry's piling up and my business and my babies are crying and now what, right? So like when we can really focus on the things that move the needle forward, that move you forward personally, professionally, in each one of these areas, it's such a game changer for you as a mom to like take a breath and actually see the progress, but for everyone else around you. And like that to me fulfills me, because I know it works for me, because I have it in my own life. I implement it in my own life. But when I hear the success of the other people that it impacts, and it's not just one person, it's that ripple effect, as she described, that to me is like the ultimate, my purpose in life, to be able to give this to any woman. And that's why I wrote my book, because I said, I don't want someone to have to, you know, if they can't afford a course or a one-on-one program, like they need to have the tools.
Absolutely. And you know, it's so funny that you say that. And when I started this whole interview with you, you know, I was thanking you for that, right? And I what you just said just so resonated with me, and because you did this for me as well. And let me tell you why. So for basically the last 20 years, I've been in sales and marketing, and I've had this fire inside of me, right? I've had this passion. It's like, I know this, I know how to do this, I know how to do that, I know how to do it well, but I wasn't living it.
Right.
And I'll say you, but I'm talking about me right now. It's like, when I am not living my life, you know, what it happened to me, it causes me stress, because this is where I see myself and my capability, but this is where I'm acting and working out because of fear, right? Because of the fear, and to suppress yourself, because I truly believe we're all given this gift, like, you know, God's given us these gifts inside that only we have. Yeah. But when you suppress it and you're not living it, it causes this agitation. So for the longest time,
oh my God,
I was like short-tempered. I was short-tempered. I wasn't the best husband. I wasn't great with the clients. I would had procrastination, but I shit you not, right? I shit you not. When Sandi, when you helped me get on this path, and when I started this blogs, and I started this blog approximately about a month and a half ago, because at that point I go, enough is enough. Wait, you know how to do this.
Yeah.
She's doing it. They're doing it. What's holding it? And then I finally just got in front of this camera. Ever since then, Sandi, I am like a completely different person. 20% of not living my potential. And now I'm a better husband. I'm outgoing, right? And it's like, I just feel it. It's like, I feel energy inside of me. And to me, this is what people are missing out on, right?
Absolutely.
Their ability to find their best self. And when you live that best self, it's not just about the money. Of course, the money's going to come. But man, the way you feel, and like you said, the impact it has in these areas, game changing.
And you never know who you're going to inspire. You never know who you're going to change their life. Just by you getting on here and doing what you're doing and sharing how you're sharing, that is going to impact someone and change their life, and then create again that ripple effect. So it's such a beautiful thing. And then when you realize, like, I remember I would have, and that's why I said I resonate with you so much, because I would literally have anxiety. I'd be like, I need to, like, I know what I need to do, right? And I'm not doing what I'm capable of. And when you, and I think as an entrepreneur, like, you always are like, I can do more, I can do better, I can, and you're like trying to do all the things. But that's where I say, and I hone in with my clients on, like, there's busy, right? Like, we can be busy. Like, no one has a problem filling their day with BS or nonsense or whatever they want to fill it with. So there's doing like the busy stuff, and then there's doing the things that are going to actually move you forward, allow you to be productive and make the income and the impact that you want to make. So like, that's what I specifically do with my clients. And again, like, there's so many things that you can do on a daily basis. We all have 24 hours in the day, but when you're doing the right things and you're taking the right steps, you become more fulfilled, because I'm not just filling up my day with nonsense. I'm not just like going and saying, well, I hope I have a plan, I hope something comes to me today, and just kind of winging it, right? Because that's never going to work out. So if anything, like my book, again, the courses, the coaching, all of this helps anyone say, look, I know that what I have can help someone. I know that what I do, the impact that it makes is going to change lives. And just like you said, we all have that. You need to be living up to that potential, and you're wasting a gift and a talent if you're not doing that. So it's your responsibility to be able to, and it's our gift, right? So we're giving that to the world. It's not something that you are given to hold on to. It's something that you're given to give back, to give away, right? Because you intrinsically know how to do what you do. To me, what I do, to most people, they're like, how do you do that? Right. And to me, I'm like, how do you not know how to do that? So like, that's why it's my gift, but to other people, but to give, right? Not to hold on to. So it's my responsibility to be able to give that and share that. And I've seen it change lives. I've seen it change the lives of my clients and the people that consume my content, just like you, what you're doing, it's changing lives. So I love what you're doing. And I think that anyone that's listening to this and they're like, well, should I start the thing? Should I do the thing? Like, you're going to doubt yourself. Like we all do in the beginning, because it's like that imposter syndrome. Like, who am I to write the book, launch the podcast, do the whatever, right? Run the business. But again, like, if you know that you have this gift or service or whatever it is, product that can change lives and make an impact, you need to go for that. You need to do it.
Yeah, and when we look at that, and especially in the esthetician space, right? Because they're not selling facials, right? The facial is what they do. The result is the confidence that their clients get. Now their clients feel more beautiful. They feel like they can go out and get that job, get the guy, get the opportunity, just live their life. So a couple of things, and that you look inside your book, you deal with procrastination quite a bit. You talk about that. In this space, because we talk about so much marketing someone's beauty business, a couple of things that they need to do more that come up again and again. They need to put themselves out on social media more, do more videos, do more, whether it's interviews like this or better presenting their product and service. And a lot of them don't do it. And when I recently did a poll, I'm like, video is going to help you sell your business. your services, your products, etc. Why don't you do it? And one of the common reasons is they're not comfortable being in front of camera, and they don't know what to say. Right.
Okay.
And so that leads to that procrastination. So
yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yep. So, okay. So I'll tell you this. I have a client, and when she started working with me, she was in the beauty business. Like I said, she had one stream of income. We worked together, and within 3 months, she had 3 streams of income in the beauty industry. With that being said, she was able to, and now this was someone who was not comfortable on camera. She's like, I'm so afraid to get on camera. And like, she's like, cause she's like, oh, I'm a behind the scenes type of person. And if you're an esthetician, if you're in the beauty industry, you're used to doing the makeup or the hair or the lashes, right? For the person that's on camera, the person that's getting their photos or the video taken. So you're so used to being behind the scenes, not the one that's showing up on camera, showing, talking, all of that, right?
Right.
So the first thing that I would say is don't lead with the product, right? Like if you're selling a product, a shampoo, the lashes, the facial, right? Like you need to talk about what the actual experience is. And then also, how is it going to change my life? How is this product going to save me time? How is this product going to save me money, make me money? How is this going to be something that's so transformative for me? Because when I just see, I'm just going to pick this up because it's sitting next to my desk. This, right? This is like, I'm holding up a candle. So, you know, let's say this is the product, and I'm just like, oh, it looks pretty and this and that. What is it going to do for me? What is this going to do for me? What is your shampoo going to do? Am I going to use the shampoo and it's going to allow me to make my blowout last for 3 or 4 or 5 days longer, right? Like, what is it? And when you take it off of you, the reason why I'm saying this is because so many of these women are focused on, oh my God, the way that I look, the way that I sound, the way that I show up. I'm a woman, so I get it. Most times I'm like not in hair and makeup, and I get on, I put a filter on, and I'm like, hey guys, by the way, I want to tell you something, because I feel like people need to hear it. Take it off of you and understand it's about what, like what we're saying in this whole conversation. It's about what you're giving to this person, right? So, and again, instead of the whole hair and makeup, and you can start with that if if it makes you feel comfortable on camera, but just know that what you're sharing, the information that you're delivering, it's about the person who's receiving it on the other end. So again, if you're showing up with a product or a service, talk to me about what that's going to do for me. How is that going to benefit me or my audience? I don't want to know, how, I mean, look, at the end of the day, if we're going to purchase, we're going to know how much it is, but like, that's just like semantics, right? So like things like that, if it's going to change my life, I don't care how much it is. If it's going to save me time, money, give me more energy, make me look beautiful, I'm like, sign me up.
It's not about price, right? And I think that's one of the big misnomers out there are a lot of folks, I'll go through the scroll and it's like, hey, 20% off. Hey, come here, we got 50% off. Hey, we got a sale, we got a sale. It's like, I don't even know who you are. I don't even know what this is going to do for me. So
what is the value that you bring?
It doesn't matter how cheap it is, because sometimes cheap just looks desperate.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. And sometimes, if you're discounting products, and I get it, if it's a Black Friday special, something, that you're doing to do as like a promotion, then that's fine. But when you discount your services, you're discounting and you're devaluing yourself, your time, like, whatever you're putting into that. So that's not always the best way to go. I always say add more value. So like, again, let's say you're selling shampoo, conditioner, service, right? Like what can you put together with that would make that experience even better for your client, right? Maybe they're buying a facial, and to enhance the experience, you say you tack on a massage, right?
Yep.
You're upping up the price. So now it's more money, but the experience is better. I'd rather have an amazing experience and pay more money than a mediocre experience and pay less money.
Yeah, and to me, that's what, like, and I'll say like a bunch of examples, like for example, Groupon, right? Groupon, to me, it targets a lot of people that are looking for deals. Right. And again, that's fine, right? For some people it works, for some people it doesn't. However, if you want a long-term client, and to me, that, like, for example, with the beauty business, that's what we're looking for, because once you figure out how someone's skin is and what works, you put in that time, that energy, you have a client for a while.
And also you're building a relationship.
Yes.
Right? So like, it's not just let me get someone a quick sale. It's how can I form the relationship with someone. And also what I would say too, for all of the women who are just kind of starting out in this space, what can you do that's going to set you apart from the next woman that's selling the same exact service or product, right? Is it something that you can do that offers stuff like, again, let's say I'm just going with shampoo because it's the first thing that comes to mind. Maybe you give them like a free consultation or something. Maybe instead of just selling the product, again, if you're, you know, close to the person, meaning like location wise, and obviously with COVID, we have to be careful. So I'll throw that in there. But maybe you're like, you know what, I'm going to throw in a blowout with the purchase of this set. And you give them the experience of like that. I mean, come on, ladies, how many times are you like, I get my hair done. You're like the head massage, like, oh my God, that'll sell me every time. Right? Like, I'm going to get highlights in my hair done the whole time. I look forward to like just the head massage and the shampoo, right? Because it feels so amazing. So like, how can you again enhance that experience and give more to the client? So now instead of buying one product or service, they're buying multiple from you because you're enhancing that experience and you're adding on something that someone else who's selling the same product or service is doing, but now you're setting yourself like apart from just the same product. You're enhancing that experience for them.
So like see, a lot of what you're talking about right here are experience, feelings, this and that. It sounds like a lot of emotion, right? So how important, Sandi, would you say building and creating that emotional experience is to a business?
Well, I'll tell you this, women are very emotional buyers, okay? We will like say we can't afford one thing and then we find a hot hair product or makeup or cream or something and we're like, wait, rent? Screw rent. I gotta get this thing, right? So again, and it's so funny because if you think about like infomercials and all the things that you're like, I don't need this thing. This is ridiculous. Like, who would buy this? And then you start and you get sucked in and you're like, oh my God, it does this. And then it does that. And then you're like, wait a minute, I'll take 10. Like,
wait, you know, there's more.
But wait, there's more. So that's why, you know, women are very emotional buyers. And there's a book that I read, and for all of the women that are listening, this is a great book to read as well. It's called Why She Buys. And it's all the psychology behind the female buyer. And look, most times, more than not, the female, the woman of the household is buying the products for the house. So she's buying the laundry detergents, the dish soaps, the hair care products, like all of that kind of stuff. So it dives into the psychology of why we buy, right? So when you ask about like the emotion and the feeling, if you just talk about a product and, you know, the point of sale and or the price point and these things, like, yeah, that might get someone who wants to save a buck or two. But then if you can speak to more of why it's going to benefit you, again, go to me about why it's going to save me time, why it's going to give me more energy, why it's going to, whatever it is, right? That is something that's going to get you the sale versus, like you said, discounting the product, you know, putting a buy one, get one, whatever it is.
There's no emotion. There's
exactly.
no emotion to the sale, right?
Exactly. And again, like you can serve the customer better when you know what they're looking for, because one client's wants and needs are going to be different from the next, right? I'm sure they're going to be similar in some aspects, but at the end of the day, like, let's again go with hair, right? Like my texture of my hair, the color of my hair, that's going to be different from the next girl that I'm talking to, right? So like really getting to know the person that you're speaking to, what are their wants and needs, and then how can you meet them at a level that's going to totally surpass the experience that someone else is giving to them.
And you know what? When you look at emotion, it's you can create emotion in a picture. You can create emotion through a video story. But like, for example, and I think this is really good. Like, for example, if we're sticking with shampoos, go, hi, this is the shampoo that I have, and it's great. And if you use it, you know, it'll reduce your dandruff, you know, and it's 20% off, right? That's not very emotion. However, one thing that I've learned, Sandi, and maybe, you know, let me know your thoughts, is when you create a story, it really helps, because the stories, like that's how I connected with
stories
you.
Stick.
Your story, stories stick, bam, right? So if I go, you know what, I've been struggling with dandruff for months. I feel so embarrassed because sometimes I'll go out. I can't even wear a black top because I know my
Right.
flakes will go on. So because of that, I don't go out much. I don't take pictures. I'm really self-conscious about my dandruff. But then,
You're being
but then,
so relatable right there.
yeah.
Like someone that's going to relate with you and that's going through
Yes.
that is going to connect with that emotion.
See, and then I'll go, and then I met Sandy, and Sandy says, "Hey, Wick, have you tried this shampoo? I tried it, and it was great." And because Sandy recommended it, I tried it, and now I feel fantastic. My flakes have been
Yeah.
gone, and I'll show a picture of like a bunch of flakes and like one
Like a
flake,
before and after. Yeah.
yeah, a before and after, and then I'm going out partying like a rock star, going woo, wearing black, woo. But that's what it is. You take somebody on a story
Yeah. On that
that
journey.
people can relate to, right? And to
Absolutely.
me, that's what helps create that emotion is,
Yep.
and stories stick.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the more you can do that, the more, like you were saying before, it takes it off of you in terms of, oh my gosh, I'm so afraid to get on camera. What do I say? What do I do? One thing that really helps me, and this is what I do with all of my content and what I help my clients with, is do a big brain dump, right? Like if you're a pen and paper person, write it on pen and paper. I do it like on my notes section on my computer, and then it syncs up with my phone. And I write out, like, I don't even stop. I just, for 15, 20 minutes, I say, what are all the things I can talk on time management, on productivity, on mom life, on all the things, right? Like you want to get pretty like narrowed down to about 4 pillars, right? So let's say it's under beauty, right? Like beauty is like your main topic that you want to talk about. Well, what are my 4 pillars under beauty? Well, it's going to be how I'm a mom and these products, how they, I can use them for my kids. Maybe it's under something about how they're healthy and all, and because there's
Right.
all the, paraben free, all the, toxics and the chemicals, free. And then maybe also I'm going to relate it back to how it allows me to have an additional stream of income with this business. And then another pillar is going to be about the actual products themselves, right? So I would just do a big brain dump of all of the things that fall under those 4 pillars. And then you just talk about it. Like you literally have to just take time out of the equation and say, this is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to go live. I'm going to do this interview. I'm going to write this article. And a lot of the times my clients, when they first start with me, they'll be like, oh my God, I have the content, but like, I'm so afraid to do it. Right. And I'll tell you this, the first 1 or 2 or few times, it's going to be a little scary because you're not familiar with it. But the more you do it, the more comfortable you get, the more you can connect and show up and get your message out, which is going to help people, which therefore, and money, the exchange of money, most of us, we're not even physically holding it. It's like going from account to account. Like it's just numbers on a screen, right? So the physical paper itself of money, you're not even seeing in your hand. So to me, it's like money being exchanged through bank accounts. And you have to understand that money, like someone can say this candle is worth $2 and someone can say this is worth $200, right? Either way, it's made up. So guess what? At the end of the day, that's why I'm trying to really drive the point home that price, it doesn't matter. It's what you're bringing to the table. It's the value that you bring. And that's what you need to focus on. And you need to just commit to saying, if this is what I'm going to do, I need to take it off of me. I need to show up and just share what I need to share. And then it makes it a little bit easier for you to get the ball rolling and get started. And then once you do it, you guys, it's so fun. Like it's fun to be able to connect with other people. And then you have others reaching out to you saying, oh my gosh, your product changed my life, or your services, or coming into your salon or getting your services helped me so much because like I have someone that comes to my house and does my hair. She comes and does my blowouts, every couple, like once a week. Right. And guess what she does while she's here? And I know a lot of these ladies are, maybe out of work in like a salon, which is what happens to be the case with my lady. I sit here, I do work emails while she's blowing out my hair. I order Instacart from my phone, so I get the groceries delivered to my house. And while she's doing my hair, I'm getting all of this done. So do you know how much time that saves me? So like, if you're someone that can do an in-home service, like that should be something that you're promoting. Like while I'm in your home doing your hair, your nails, maybe not a massage because I'm not on my phone, I'm getting a massage, but whatever the service is, I'm saving you time because you're not having to drive to a location.
Yep.
there and back. I'm saving you time also because you can be working while, you're getting your pedicure, your hair done, or whatever it is. You don't have to be stressed sitting in traffic. I mean, build on that. And again, show up with the value of what it is versus, well, I can come to your home for $35 for a manicure.
See, and such a huge difference, because you're showing where someone's going to save time. They're saving energy. They can get so much. So you're not selling. She's not selling the blowout. That's part of it. She's selling you time. I'm going to save you time, and you're going to look beautiful, and you can get so much more done. It's so funny with Sandi, because you keep putting up that candle, right? And like what you said, numbers are made up, right? That candle could be $2. That candle could be $20, $200.
Yeah.
And a really good example, just because you keep bringing up that candle, is that candle right there. Let's just say it's $2. I saw this ad on Facebook about funny candles. So it's like a candle with like memes on it. Okay. And one of them was aimed at office employees, and it says, "This meeting smells like it could have been
I think I've seen that. I think I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. This meeting smells like it could have been an email candle, and it was funny. And people were buying that for like $20 a pop.
Yes.
And it's the same candle, but the feeling, it made me laugh.
Exactly.
I was like, you know what, that's hilarious, and I'll buy that. And you sell a $20 candle to 100,000 people. All right.
Yeah.
Just one quick email.
Do the math. Yep. Absolutely.
So here, content. You're talking about content. That's one of the areas I know a lot of the viewers have questions on. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what content to create. How do you go through about what's your creative?
So for me, like I was saying, I always focus on my 4 pillars of what it is that I'm going to focus on, because look, at the end of the day, we could all speak on any topic, right? But you have to know what you're going to stay away from. Like, I don't talk any politics. I don't talk any religion. I don't talk any news. Like, that's like a no-go zone for me. Okay. So I don't talk 50% any of that.
Clients just
I don't go there.
Yeah.
Some I know some celebrities, especially election season, they're out there talking about whatever candidates. I don't go there. For me, I very specifically talk about family, right? So I talk about, you'll see on my stories all day long, my kids, you'll see all day long, my business, you'll see all day long, my productivity, you'll see my testimonials. So there's certain things that I speak to, but some of them are interchangeable, right? And so that's why I say, like, for the content side of it, you need to know, like, and again, if we're talking under the beauty and health and wellness industry, what I would say to that is, you have whatever your product or service is, and you know the person that's selling all of the benefits, all of the features, everything about your product, but the person that you're speaking to does not. So it may seem redundant to talk about the same. Like, I talk about productivity and time management all day long to my clients, on interviews, on Facebook Lives, in like all day long. So to me, I'm saying a lot of the same things over and over and over again, but to other people, they're hearing it for the very first time. So you have to just anticipate that, even though you're going to be showing up, and the goal would be ideally every day that you're somewhere putting out content, right? Whether it's a short 15-second video on Instagram stories, whether you go live, whether it's an interview, like whatever the platform is, you have to understand that your message is going to be the same thing, because that's branding, right? Like, you need to brand yourself as the expert in your space, right? Like the expert on, I don't know, the shampoo, the product, the service, whatever that is, right? And then, I mean, I could go down a whole rabbit hole of how we do that and lead magnets and all that kind of stuff. But for the purpose of this conversation of content, you need to be able to figure out what it is that you're speaking to. And marketing, you guys, it's very basic. If I boil it down for you to understand, it's the same stuff over and over and over again, presented and packaged up in a different manner. So let's just say, I'm talking again, just for the sake of my business, productivity and time management. If I pull up, and I'll even do it right now, just to like give you an example. If I pull up topics that I would speak on under time management and productivity, I'm looking at a list right in front of me of about 50 different bullet points. I'm going to read you just like 3, so you can understand how it's the same topic under time management productivity, but the way that I market it is different. So again, I just pulled some up right on my computer here. Three of them, just to give you an example: 10 excuses that keep you from hitting your goals in this month. How to hit your big juicy goals in 90 days or less. How to banish the I'm too busy mentality forever. So you see how they all fall under, like, and those were just 3 categories. They all fall under getting shit done, right? I'm not saying like the same thing in each one of those. And again, I have 50 of them on my list. I'm literally, because one thing that resonates with one person about maybe how to get away from my excuses and start getting things done, how to hit my goals and my targets, versus I'm too busy. One of those is going to resonate with someone, and then the other one's going to resonate with someone else. So you just have to understand that, yes, you may be giving the same content out, but it's just in a different way. You're packaging it up differently. So whether it's the product, the service that you're selling, and you feel like you're giving a lot of the same information out, just know that it's always going to be delivered differently. And someone is always, you're always going to look, we're on an endless platform of social media. So you never know who's going to be consuming your content. So always show up as if you're doing it for the first time. And I want to say with that as well, even if someone's watching for the 20th time, most people don't purchase from you until at least they've seen or heard of you over 12 times.
There you go. Right. And if they're not showing up that way, and it's consistent, right? You go to the gym, one day, and then you don't go to the gym for the next week, and then the next week, and just one time. It doesn't work. It needs to be consistent, because that consistency is what builds you. And you don't know. Right. And you know what? A funny thing that you just said is like presenting information different ways, but it's the same information. How many people out there have seen a movie? Exactly. The same movie 20 times, and you're like, oh my God, I never saw that part. Right. Oh my God, I didn't know that happened.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
Our mind is running all the time. We might have missed that. We're thinking about, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? It's like, oh my God, we got diapers, right? It's like, you don't know where your mind is.
And to that same point, the client that may have seen you 6 months ago may be in a different position now than they were back then, right? Like, this world is changing so fast, the technology, the communication. I mean, look, no one could have predicted 2020 would end up where we are now, right? And the working from home, and the kids doing the school from home, and like, it's just been a totally different world. So January 1st, 2020, no one could have predicted this. And the whole time management thing, and figuring all this stuff out, the way that we work, the way that we sell our products, the way that we show up, more people need that stuff now, right? More than ever. So it's like, even if someone didn't need your product or service a week ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, times change. So you have to also be evolving and showing up. So no matter, you got to meet that person where they're at, you're showing up, you're providing that value, but you're also providing the solution to a problem. You're not just showing them what product or service you're offering, you're showing how that is going to help them and solving a problem.
Absolutely. So Sandi, you've been in business for a while now, and I'm sure, just like everybody else, there's the ups, the downs, and one of the philosophies that always cracks me up is like, God, I wish I knew then what I knew now. So when I first started, right, it's the power is knowledge. Yes. And now we're a little bit older, a little bit wiser. What are some things that the Sandi of today, if you could step in a time machine and go back to when you first started your business, what advice would you give to yourself?
Yeah. So, I'm someone who always was like, growing up, I was always afraid of failure. And I was always afraid of like doing the wrong thing, or like not doing something right. I'm doing air quotes for anyone who's just listening to this, right? And this is why I was saying, I preach this so much to my kids. Like, there's no wrong way to do something. And a no, like a no is only an opportunity for you to figure things out. So going back to that resourcefulness, I wish I would have known and implemented at a younger age, just like the beauty in the no's, and not being able to figure things out, because you become more resourceful. You become someone that says, well, this is a no, I'm going to figure out another way to figure this out, or to make it happen. I think so many people they allow that no to be a stop for them. Yeah. And be a block, versus, guess what? It's a no, But A, it could be just a no right now, or B, this is an opportunity for me to figure out another way to do this. And a great book, and the book that actually helped me work through this is the book. It's called Go for No. And it talks about how the more no's you hear, the closer to a yes you get, is pretty much the sum of the book. And that to me was a game changer, because I was like, it's never like a hard no. It's just a not right now. Right. So like, if something's a no, it just means that whatever that is isn't needed right now, but that doesn't mean in a few months from now, weeks, days, whatever, it's going to be the same situation. So that's something, because for me, for such a long time, it was such a block. Like, you know, if I fail, then, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Right. Like, how many of us get so like caught up in that? And at the end of the day,
Sandy, so for you, was it fear, or was it being a perfectionist?
I think, well, it was both. It was for sure both, because I grew up in a home where it was like, you got to get good grades. And if you don't meet a certain standard, like, it wasn't acceptable. And just like the school, the environment I grew up with, it was very like, you know, I mean, and look, I was like a BC student at best. Like, I was not your straight A student. I was going to school for the social stuff. Like, let's be real here. I was going for the parties. I was like, let me just get through this. And look, I think any entrepreneur is the same way. They're like, you know what? Let me just get through with whatever I need to get through with to go do the thing I want to do. You know, so for me, I was like, this is a joke. I just want to get through it and like get to the next thing that I want to do. So again, I think for me, the biggest thing and the biggest lesson that I learned was that there's no perfection. The whole perfectionism thing, like, that really, I think, stops a lot of people, because they think whatever they put out needs to be perfect.
Stop.
Yes. And they're like, oh my God. And my clients, oh my God, I can't even tell you, they all struggle with this. They're like, it needs to be perfect. The blog, the this and that. I'm like, do you know how many newsletters I send out literally on a weekly basis that are like, the spelling is
just the typos?
Like, there's typos in there. There's like, I mean, no, it's not perfect, but the point is I'm getting my content out. I'm getting the information out. The point is received, right? So let's not get stopped up in how perfect something needs to be, or pretty, or whatever, because it's just, if you wait until that, it's never going to happen, and you're never going to do it. Right. So like, you do what you can do to the best of your ability, and then you get it out and you move on to the next thing. Right. So just the perfectionism and all of that. And because all of these women that are listening, or men, right, that are in the beauty industry, that's part of like who you are. Like, you love the beauty and everything looking beautiful and perfect, and like the aesthetics of everything. Right. But like, that can also be a stop for you, because you're like, I know everything needs to look beautiful and perfect, but if it doesn't, like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to put it out. I don't want to create the content if it doesn't look a certain way. I'll say to that what I was just saying before, which is, do it how you're going to do it and get it out, because done is better than perfect all day long.
And if you're not doing it and you're just sitting there, and you know, your no turned into a stop. So Sandy, here, the beauty industry, the average esthetician, according to the statistics, makes between 30 to 40,000 a year. In this beauty industry, this gazillion dollar industry, the average is doing about 30 to 40 grand a year.
That's insane.
Right? It blew my mind, and that's one of the reasons why I dove into this space, is because the need is there. So let me ask you a question, and a reason for I believe the main reasons for that low number is because their sales and marketing skills are not where they need to be, but also more importantly, because they are those perfectionists, and their no turned into a stop. So based on your experience, your opinion, let's just say they didn't have, they took the brakes out of the car, the no, the stop, whatever, they can't even stop. They're going head on. And they are doing exactly what you said, what you teach, what you preach in your books, and working with you. They got a little bit more organized. They are go. And they're like, you know what? It's not perfect, but I'm getting there. How, in your humble opinion, what do you think the difference in their salary could be?
Oh my God. I mean, look, it's like there's not even a number you can put on it. It's like the sky is the limit, right? Because at the end of the day, why first of all, that 30 to 40 to me, I literally want to me, I'm like, I want to speak into these women, like one-on-one, give them my book, like, be like, come on, like,
here,
you know, because look, women, we are so powerful. Like I said, we are the ones that are, for the most part, buying the products, buying the things in the house. Look, a lot of these women are moms too, right? So like their kids are also seeing this. And to me, like there should be no like cap to what their income potential should be, right? So like, again, there's no like hard number to put on it. But at the end of the day, like if that were me and I was like, okay, let's rewind it and take it back to like, I'm only making the 30, 40 right now, right? What I would do is I would say, okay, if this is where I'm starting, right? What can I do? How do I, and I tell my clients this, I would do an audit of all of my past month, let's say my last month or my last quarter, to say, okay, what did I do that moved the ball forward for me in my business? Because a lot of times, let's say it's not a salon owner, let's say it's someone that's working in you know, a salon or something like that. What can you do that's going to allow you to move the ball forward, to make the progress, to allow you to get more income? Because if you're physically the person that's doing like the you know, the highlights, the service, you only, again, have a certain amount of hours in the day to do that. Like you can only do so many facials, massages, blowouts a day, right?
Absolutely.
Like there's just 24 hours in a day. Even if everything's 1 hour and you're never sleeping, that's only 24 clients you can get in a day. So with that being said, I would start to see what's working. And then also I would look at it and I would say, how can I start to take this? Because as you know, everything's going online right now. How can I start to pivot so I can get more attention, more eyeballs on what I'm doing to more people in less amount of time, right? So how can I take a service that I'm doing and start to reach more people versus taking the time that I have, let's just say like a 9-hour workday, and take that and really say, in that 9-hour time or 8-hour time, right? What am I doing that's really moving the ball forward for me? Now, how can I also take that and not just say, well, I'm going to take on more clients, but what can I do to add to that experience to make sure that the money that I'm bringing in is going to be more money? To start off, it could be I'm selling more products. My services are increasing, right? But then we can also bring this online, right? If you've been in the beauty industry for, I don't know, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you have an education behind what you're doing. Yep. You can start to educate people on, like, who are also in the space. This is what I did with one of my clients who I helped her bring in those additional 2 streams of income. How can you educate people on what it is that you know, where you don't have to be in a salon on your feet working a certain amount of hours a day, right? Yep. Like, so you have to start thinking bigger versus my time. Again, your time is valuable. You're never going to get it back. So how can I take the time that I do have and maximize that time to make more income and impact that I'm making right now with the time that I have? And maybe it's someone that's like, I only have before my kids wake up and when my kids go to bed, because I'm working during the day and the kids are in school. And you're like, I got 2 hours to dedicate to this. I would say, mama, what you got to do is you got to get laser focused. And you got to come up with a plan where you're able to hone in on what your skill sets are so you can start reaching more people and start to build something up for yourself where you can maximize that time that you have.
And that's enough, right? Like that, those 2 hours, if somebody is focused, if they're lasered in, if they're moving the ball forward and they're planning and they're getting the content like you recommend. And Sandi, and that's one of the reasons I think you know, you resonated with me is you take us on a big journey, but you make it very simple. Like the simplicity is like, okay, the first thing I would do is this. The second do is this. You know, we're not mixing chemical equations here, right? I didn't hear the.
And it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. Like I think so many people overcomplicate the process. Like they're looking for like this magic solution or this magic pill to like all of a sudden make things like, I don't know, work. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's not, and you're like
the Harry Potter spell.
Right. And it's like, there's no magic to it. It's consistency, right? Like you have to be consistent with what you're doing and you gotta show up. Like no one, only you can be you. Only I can be me. Right. Like I can't, there's plenty of things I can outsource and delegate in my business. And in my book, I talk about my 3D system, which is do, delegate, delete. And there's plenty of things that I delegate. And there's plenty of things that I'm like, I'm just getting rid of. I'm not doing this right now. But there's only a certain amount of things that I can do, right? So if only I can do those things, that means I got to take some things off my plate, either give it to someone else or get rid of it in order to maximize what I can do to move my business forward.
Absolutely. And Sandi, thank you so much. So here, if you have the opportunity right now to send a message to all these bold beauty business bosses out there, what would you say? What's your piece of advice?
I would say you are so much more wildly capable than you give yourself credit for. Because as women, we always downplay our success. We don't give ourselves enough credit. I would say show up and realize the impact that you are going to make on this world. Even if you don't feel like what it is that you're doing is like the next, I don't know, big thing or the next, breakthrough, for someone else, it's going to make an impact in their life. And it starts with you, right? So like you need to be that, live that, show that. Yeah. And then it's authentic. You show up as you, and you don't have to pretend to be anyone else or be something that you're not. Right. So you are who you are, and you get to show up and change lives and be the person that you want to be and make the life for yourself that you want to have, because it's not like I'm trying to be someone that I'm not or show up as someone as I'm not. But at the end of the day, you really have to hone in on what is it that's going to move you forward. And again, like I said, you're so much more wildly capable than you give yourself credit for. So don't downplay that. Right? But work to your strengths, get the tools, get the knowledge that's going to empower you to be able to do these things, right? Because if you're like, I'm still not really quite sure how to like maximize my time to do this. Like, I know she's talking about if I have 2 hours, but when I sit down, like, what do I do with it? Right? Like, you guys, every single day, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm listening to podcasts, I'm listening to a book. I always say, just grow 1% a day. Grow 1% a day. And in a year, we're not growing 100%. We're growing 365% a year. That's insane. Mentally, physically, emotionally, 1% a day. That's my motto. That's my philosophy. So I would just, yeah. And that's as simple as reading a book, reading an article, taking a course, getting a coach, getting a mentor, doing something to grow yourself. And you'll look back, and I always do these little audits, throughout the month. I'll say, okay, where am I? How am I progressing? Where am I going? What's working? What's not working? So again, I would just say to all of these ladies, you're so much more wildly capable than you give yourself credit for. Sometimes it's just having the systems behind what you're doing to make it a little bit easier. And that's why I have Slay Your Day. So you can take it, you can implement it, and just freaking crush it. Whatever you're going for, you can have it. You just have to make sure that you're implementing these systems into your life.
How valuable is a mentor? What are your thoughts on mentoring or the value of a mentor?
Yeah, so I found this quote and I'm obsessed with it. And it said, mentors are cheat codes to life. And I'm like, that's everything. Like, it totally sums up everything that a mentor and a coach should be, right? Like, if you're at a certain place in your life and you're like, I want to fast track my success, that's what a mentor does. That's what the right mentor or coach will do for you. It was funny. I was doing a live a couple of weeks ago, and I was explaining this exactly what I'm telling you. I said, mentors, coaches are cheat codes to life. And I said, if I wanted to get in like the best shape ever, I would hire a coach. Like, for myself, I would hire someone to train me. And literally a week later, I hired a coach, like someone to come train me, because I was like, you know what? I want to, like, I just had a baby 5 months ago. I'm like, you know what? I'm ready for that now. And I hired someone. So like, whatever area it is, whether it's health and wellness, like an actual someone that you're hiring in the gym for your body, whether it's someone in your business, get that, because it's only going to help you grow. You're only going to learn from it. And it's only going to help you fast track the success that you want to get. Because if you could do it yourself, you would have already done it. You would have already done it.
It's hard to get out of your own head sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you need somebody. And I think, Sandi, a lot of times, like for example, let's just say getting into shape, right? Okay, for the average person, we know how to get into shape. Okay, I got to eat more salad, less crap and run more. There you go.
Right,
there's my 3 secrets of getting into shape. But sometimes we need that person there to push us, to guide us, to be more efficient with it. And so for example, one thing that you mentioned was some of the people that you worked with, you helped them generate additional streams of income, right? How valuable is that, especially at this time of COVID, where these salons, they're open, they're closed, they're open, they're closed, and that was their primary source of income. That's how they fed their family. That's how they bought clothes. That's how they bought groceries. And now, because they didn't have those additional streams, it's everyone just scrambling all over, right? So, but by working with someone like yourself and helping them say, okay, this is what I've done for this person. And if it worked for one, it could work for others, right?
Absolutely. And look, you don't know what you don't know. So if you're not familiar with how do I, like Sandy's talking about lead magnets, and she's talking about additional streams of income. And if you're like, I couldn't even fathom like how to do that, or maybe I know the first couple steps, but then what? Like that was my client who I'm telling you, who I worked with. And this was pre-COVID. So we started working together in February. I want to say it was about 2 months, but for sure 3 months. We were into the system of her building these 2 additional streams of income for herself and her family. And she goes, oh my God, we would have never known COVID would have happened. She goes, thank God we did what we did in setting up this for her in her business, because she goes, now, like when the salons are closed, so her business was working as a wedding makeup artist. So she was doing hair and makeup where she was going to all these weddings, but guess what? As you all know, weddings were shut down. Weddings got the big slap down, just like everything else did. So what we were able to do was, because she's had the knowledge behind the industry, her business, she was then able to help other women in the industry build what she called her beauty business blueprint, and coach and teach them on how to essentially, exactly what I'm telling you, bring on a mentor, get in people that that can fast track your business so you can start to do this in your own life. And I helped her create this. And she's like, this was like, who would have known? Who would have known this would have happened? So like I said, you don't know what you don't know. So by getting a mentor, by getting a coach, someone that can help you implement these things, you're only helping yourself to go further faster. Because again, if you knew it, you would have done it already. And if I even take it back a step and say, like my coach that I have, that I hired as my trainer, I was working out because I said, I want you to build me a booty. I said, I would never have pushed myself this hard, like in the gym, right? So same thing goes as a business coach. Like you would never push yourself to those levels and to that extent if it were just you on your own. You just wouldn't, because again, you would do it already if you knew what to do and how to to it. So that's
enough. I posted it. I'm comfortable. That's okay. It's like, and then Sandy goes, no.
And a lot of it too is the accountability. Like I do check-ins with my clients. I'm like, from where we left off, what did you do this week? Where are you at? What are you implementing? What did you do? Like, where are you at? So it's just having that accountability on top of the systems and the strategy. So you need all of it. It's like you're building this perfect cake, right? Like if you leave out one ingredient, the whole cake's gonna be messed up. So you have to know, like, it's the accountability, it's the systems and what I'm doing, and the blueprint to back it up to say, like, and look, there's no like right or wrong order. If I make a cake, I can put the egg in first or last or whatever. Like it's all the ingredients, but it's the right ingredients that go into the cake that I'm making in no particular order, but it's all the right things, right? Showing up, the consistency, what you're doing, like all of that make this beautiful masterpiece.
Awesome. Sandy, is there anything else that you'd like to add? I thank you first of all, thank you so much for sharing your time, for giving us these nuggets. And I'm a huge note taker. I take notes all the time.
I love that.
When you talk about fear or failure, right? The no doesn't mean stop, right? Failure doesn't define you. And one of the examples that you like, and it's a good way, when I look at a video game, and we look at failure, like you mentioned before in the beginning, failures, it's like a game, right?
Yeah.
When I look at a video game, if I went through a video game that I bought, on Xbox or whatever the people play nowadays, and I just went through with no problems all the way to the end game, it would be a sucky game. I'm like, this game sucks, right? But the achievement is, okay, I went here, I fell there in the lava pit. Okay, next time I got to do this. Okay. Next time I got to do, and you slowly, as you pass each level, you gain pride. You're like,
and the confidence.
Yes.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
And so to me, that's what this game of life and business is. It's like, no. You didn't fall into a lava play, game over, and you're done with. No. You do it again.
Right.
You do it the first time you drove a car, right? I have some horrible experiences. I don't know.
But look, we each have kids, right? Like my son who's 3, I have my son who's 3, and then my son who's 5 months. When he goes and starts to crawl or walk, right? He's gonna try it a bunch of times and it's gonna fail, right?
Yeah.
But we're not gonna say, well, I guess you can't walk, I guess you can't crawl, I guess you're gonna just sit there for the rest of your life.
It's like, I can see you right now. Hey, Jared, we gave it a shot.
We gave it a shot. The kid's just not gonna walk. He's
gonna
not gonna crawl. Right? So like, why do we do the same thing to ourselves? Absolutely. It's the exact same thing. And like I said in the beginning, make it fun. Like it's supposed to be a journey. It's supposed to be something that, you can do over and over and over again, and you can constantly get better at. So don't beat yourself up because the first like dozen times it didn't turn out the way that you wanted it to, or you didn't get what you wanted. You just keep trying until you get to that point, and then you get to that next level. So like you said, for video games sake of keeping it topic of conversation, it's all meant for you to have whatever it is that you want. And especially like that number that you said to me, the 30 to 40,000, like that just kills me because
that hurts,
women,
doesn't it?
Yes, because it's like, imagine what these women could do if they were making more money. Imagine the impact they could have for their families, for the people that they care about. Like, I know when money is in good hands, people do good things with it, right? A lot of people say money changes you, or money is the root of evil, or whatever these crazy sayings are, right? Like, I'll tell you, the more money I make, the more money I give away, the more money I can help people, like organizations, my family, my friends, right? Like, the more money that you have, the better that you can do in this world. That's literally what I teach my sons. I don't know if, I'll have to have your followers now. I can connect with them on Instagram or Facebook, but for the holiday season, I literally had my son, because he has little chores that he does, and he's got to earn like, things around the house. And for the holidays, we always give to an organization. And I had him this holiday, because he's 3 years old and he can understand. He had to go into his piggy bank and donate a certain amount of money to an organization, to a charity. Yeah. But that's what it's about. Like, to me, the more I make, the bigger impact I can make, not just for my own family, but for others. And for these women that are capped at that 30 or 40,000, like that, I mean, imagine easy, they could double and triple what they're making. Right? How would that change their lives? I mean, not just their lives, but their family's life, the community. Like, that's why I'm telling you, like, ladies, it's like uncapped potential. You just have to get creative and get out of your own way. And then I'll leave it at this, because this is something that is very important as well. Don't make decisions based on where you're at. Make them based on where you want to go and where you're going. Because a lot of times people will say, well, I can't afford a coach, or I can't afford a mentor, or a program, or this or that, or whatever. Right now, maybe that's not the case, but don't operate from a place of right now based on where you want to go. Mm-hmm. And it's so powerful, because when you start to change that thinking and say, well, this program costs this much, or this course, or a coaching, or whatever it is, a book, right? Anything. You can get out of your own way so much easier when you realize, like, I may only be making 30 or 40,000 right now, but if I actually invested in myself and the right tools and knowledge and information, easily. And I say that with like every ounce and bone in my body of like, easily, ladies, doubling, tripling, quadrupling that money. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe I let, I don't know, a $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 investment get in my way of growth, when I could be growing leaps and bounds in a smaller amount of time versus struggling doing the same things over and over and over again. So get out of your own way and just realize the decisions that you make today shouldn't be based on where you are, but where you want to go.
And a really quick point is, like, if somebody says, oh my God, $3,000, $5,000, that's a lot of money. And one thing I always respond with is like, okay, how long do you want to feel like that's a lot? Yeah. That's a lot of money. Because at some point, 3,000, 5,000, that's just a good investment. It's like, I don't think about dropping that into something, because I just know it's going to work. So
especially if it's for you.
Yeah. there was a point in my life where I'm like, $3,000. Oh my God, I can't even, that's how much I paid for my last car, right? Or something of that sort. But that's the thing. If $3,000 seems like a lot of money to you, how long do you want it to seem like a lot of money? Because for some people, it's a good investment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Sandi, where can people find you? Where can people follow you? Of course, I'm going to share all your links, and
Yes.
we'll share a link for people to work with you, you know, one-on-one or however you work. You know, share with us briefly on that.
Yeah. So I across like all platforms, all social media platforms, it's at Sandi Glandt. So Sandi with an I, at Sandi Glandt. My website is sandraglandt.com. And that's where all of my coaching programs are, my courses are, and I have amazing stuff. I just rolled out exclusive VIP days that I'm doing with my clients where we work one-on-one together in it's a 6 to 8 hour day. It's an intensive, but you get a lot of information all at once to really execute. And we map out essentially like the year, 6 months ahead. So what you would be doing in like 6 months to a year, we do in a day, which is insane. We just did our first one on Tuesday, which was amazing with a client. My book on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, you can find it there. Slay Your Day. This just came out when did this come out?
Great book.
July. Same month that I had my baby.
And if you're lucky, you can get it autographed by Miss Sandi Glandt.
That's right. That's right. So, social media. Cool. And if you guys have any questions, reach out to me because, you know, like I said, I love what I do. And part of my mission is helping women step into their power and purpose. And it's when money is in the hands of good people, you do good things with it, starting with your family, your community. And ladies, like, we need to rock 2021 because 2020 was a you-know-what show. And, you know, it's just time to take back the power and really just realize how capable you are. And that's what I do with the women that I work with. We get the whole time management thing down, we get the program down, we get the system down, and we get you rocking and rolling. And I promise you, like, if you are someone who's ready to take action, then that is for you. If you're someone that's like hemming and hawing and you're like, I don't know, that's not who I work with. I work with decision makers. I work with people who are ready to take action and ready to change their life. Because again, when you step into that power and you're ready to take action, it happens fast. So get ready for like crazy, amazing results only if you're ready to put in the work. Because again, if you sit on it, you hem, you haul, and you're not like ready, you're not really there yet, it's not going to give you the results that you're looking for. But if you're ready to change it up, shake it up, and get the results, I'm here for you.
Awesome. Sandi, thank you again so very much. I'll get in touch with you later. And again, appreciate you and your time so much. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So great to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.